I've covered many con men over the years on this channel, but one individual, Ben Armstrong, takes the cake as the biggest self-inflicted downfall I've ever seen. His most recent mugshot released in June shows a broken, disheveled man that looks massively different from his other 2025 mugshot taken just a few short months before that in March. Ben has a long list of charges against him and is facing years behind bars, and all of this could have been avoided if he was just capable of acting like a normal human being. Now, before we get into Ben's current legal troubles, let's go over how we got to this point to begin with. Ben Armstrong, aka BitBoy Crypto, started his YouTube channel back in 2018 and quickly grew to the largest crypto YouTube channel by the early 2020s. He made millions of dollars through his crypto holdings, as well as ad revenue and sponsorships, and should have been set for life, but all of that changed due to his inappropriate behavior. In August of 2023, Ben was fired from his BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel after allegations of inappropriate behavior on set, as well as possible drug use, which Ben has a long history of battling over the years. This was the start of his downward spiral, and Ben had to sell his Lambo to fund his legal case against his old company to try and get his channel back. He started a new YouTube channel and continued his crazy antics by doing a live stream outside of the house of the man he sold his Lambo to, claiming the man and his former company scammed him.
At Carlos's house. This is where Carlos lives, guys. I am live streaming from Carlos's house. Carlos has my Lamborghini right here in his garage.
That behavior got him arrested, but it also led to the end of his marriage after it was revealed his mistress Cassie was with him that night. He had told the public and his wife he wouldn't see her anymore, but quickly went back on that promise, which led to him not only fighting his former company in court, but also now fighting his ex-wife in court during the divorce process. Eventually his divorce was finalized, but this led to a new case revolving around his custody battles with his ex-wife for visitation of his children. Due to Ben's continued bizarre behavior, Ben's ex-wife had convinced the courts to allow very limited supervised visits of Ben with his children. This took a heavy toll on Ben, which led to his now infamous mental breakdown during his live stream in February of this year.
Do I have your attention now? Do I have it? Good. I thought so. You're gonna listen to my demands. I will make them at the end.
After that incident, it seemed like Ben was trying to turn his life around, as he made several videos on his channel apologizing to his audience, his ex-wife, and anyone else he hurt. He stated that his focus on YouTube was going to be crypto going forward. After this, Ben disappeared from his channel, and because there is always something new in the news, it seemed like most people had forgot about Ben, but it turns out his life only continued to spiral out of control. On March 25th, 2025, Ben was arrested in Florida on a fugitive warrant on charges that were filed in his home state of Georgia, which were due to harassment allegations that Ben had made against the judge in his case to get back control of his original YouTube channel. Ben had fired his lawyer in the case and was representing himself, despite not having any legal background. When things didn't go his way, he resorted to threats on Twitter and, oddly enough, even threatened the judge on LinkedIn, stating that Judge Kimberly of Cobb County has ruled against my motion for receivership of Hit Network. This is a decision she will regret the rest of her life. Threatening anyone is always a bad idea, but threatening a judge has to take the cake as one of the dumbest things you can actually do. He was released after about 10 days and was waiting trial for his new case, but Ben's life continued to spiral out of control. His longtime girlfriend Cassie eventually left him as well. This was the mistress he ended up leaving his wife and kids for, so now not to have her as well left Ben with nothing to live for. Ben, apparently not caring what would happen to him, decided to once again start threatening the judge in his case, as well as police officers, which led to his arrest in June, with his now infamous mugshot where he looks like a man with nothing left to live for. I tried to find all the charges that Ben currently has against him, but was unable to do so, as the Georgia criminal system seems to keep a lot of that hidden. I reached out to Nick Diamandi, who I interviewed in 2023 about Ben. Nick was a member of Discover Crypto, the YouTube channel that Ben formerly ran, and rebranded after he left. Nick was also involved in the case Ben filed against the company that led to his arrest for harassment against the judge. When asked about Ben's new legal issues, he stated that, "I think he got multiple sentences for harassing public officials that carry a punishment of 12 months each. Unsure how much he got in total, but there were a dozen or so counts." He also has tried to plead insane to reduce his jail time. It appears Ben did eventually end up in a mental institution, as stated by those who worked closely with him. One person named AJ, who left the old company and joined Ben on his new channel, wrote a long post about Ben and stated that drugs, ego, paranoia, and a complete lack of respect for baseline reality destroyed this man. Now he's in a mental hospital, not prison, not rehab, a mental institution. On my way out the door with my hands practically glued to my pockets, I offered to pay for him to go to rehab, and damn it, I wish he took me up on that offer. Instead, with a grin, he burnt everything he ever built and cyberbullied his judge along with half the policemen in Cobb County, Georgia. This was supposed to be his redemption arc. Instead, it's a tragedy. It's unclear what will happen with Ben once his mental institution time is up. He could still be forced to face charges for the harassment allegations and spend years behind bars, or the judge could decide he was not guilty by reason of insanity. That would be the best case scenario in Ben's case. If he doesn't get the insanity plea, he could face years behind bars. Ben's long list of problems doesn't end there, as he was also sued at the beginning of the year by Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary for defamation. Ben had been claiming on both YouTube and Twitter that Kevin was a murderer, which eventually led to the lawsuit. Ben's claim about this date back to 2019, when Kevin O'Leary's wife was driving a boat that crashed into another boat that led to the death of 2 people. Kevin's wife was eventually found not to be at fault and it was ruled an accident, but Ben has claimed that this was a cover-up and it was a murder. Ben continued to harass Kevin on Twitter and at one point tweeted that, "Have you ever wanted to call a real-life murderer? You can now. Kevin O'Leary is waiting for your call." And then he proceeded to dox Kevin's phone number to his audience. Ben's multiple arrest and insanity plea caused him to not even try and fight this case, which led to the judge issuing a default judgment in Kevin O'Leary's favor. The damages Ben will have to pay will be determined on October 24th. Needless to say, it looks like Ben's life has hit rock bottom at this point. Unlike others I have covered on this channel, Ben was never arrested for doing some crypto scam, and all of this could have been avoided if he just kept his act together and never acted inappropriate at his company, which led to him getting fired and spiraling out of control. Ultimately, I don't think this story will ever have a happy ending, but for the sake of his kids at least, I do hope Ben can turn his life around. Let me know in the comments below how you think BitBoy Crypto's story will end.